Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And welcome back, everybody. Going to talk today about the support of people who have suffered a stroke. It's a long road of rehabilitation. There's a lot involved there. Many times our health system doesn't offer the type of support that is truly needed to get somebody back to where they need to be. But I found somebody that does, and also helps in the prevention and also the support of those around the person that may have had a stroke, i.e. their family and friends, to help them along with that journey. And we're going to talk with her today about what she does. Living Without Limits is the name of her practice. Karina Seda joins us today on the program. How you doing?
Hello, everyone. I am doing good. Thank you. I am glad to be here.
Thank you for being here. And I truly mean that, because I've never spoken with somebody who offers what you do to help somebody walk the journey following a stroke. Normally I don't ask this question out of the gate. And we're going to get to how you support and everything involved in that. What brought you to this field? What made you want to help people? What's your background?
This is a great question. So to begin with, myself, I experienced a hemorrhagic stroke back in 2008. So that is where everything started.
Wow. Going to say this, you are young, and then to have one even back then, a lot of us have the image of somebody a little bit older having, a stroke. I don't think we realize that it can happen for pretty much anybody.
Yes, it's true. And nowadays, it is part of the education as well, where I find myself educating people in the prevention phase. Very important, understanding those signs our body is telling us something.
So when you work with somebody past what's offered through the medical system, through insurance and all of that, what do you think is missing or can be missing within that health system?
Great question. So pretty much one of the things I want to do first is acknowledging the support, the development, and the new things we are having. When I started to now, there has been progress, a lot of new development, new equipments to support the stroke journey. I want to acknowledge that as well. But moving forward, as many people can relate to, we have the rehabilitation, the physical therapy, occupational therapy. Now, after the insurance reaches the limit, is where the true journey begins. That is all the thing that is missing, the long term. What is next? That support, the other areas in our lives. Everything is involved in the stroke journey, career, finances. And more importantly, one of the things that I found myself helping in the stroke journey is the emotional piece of the puzzle. Very important.
It really is when you think about it, because somebody is going through that challenge of knowing that I might not be the same as I was, and I can get back to doing a lot of what I was doing, but it starts in your mind as well. It's not just the physical aspect, right?
Yes, and pretty much this is you mention something I would love to reinforce, and very important for the survivor wanting to recover, that willingness. I add in my practice that it is not just of becoming like before. I want to be like before. I want to be normal, right? It is about an opportunity, a second chance at life, where we have the opportunity to do things better than before.
When you had your stroke situation, Karina, what was going through your mind? Take us back there. What was that like?
Great question. Well, back then I was those teenagers where I like to have things, my future planned, right? I was already what I was going to do that summer. I was going to enter, in model and these other things, right? Or careers. I was pursuing the medical emergency career, like to be a paramedic, better said. Everything changed. So a lot of things going on. The truth is that in my journey, I was in coma for around 3 months.
Wow.
And one of the things, every time I have the opportunity to be live in my videos and podcasts, is this fact that the last thing a human being lost in from life to death experience is the hearing, right? Even though we are in coma, we still are hearing, right? The things around. So we may experience different things in the journey. We may have extraordinary experiences to also involving what is around, what our family members are going through, the things they are saying, the things they are, even the staff, the medical staff, what is involved in the environment is a key of what we go through, if that makes sense.
It really does. And I'm curious. Now, you were in a coma for a number of months. Do you remember hearing things?
Yes, and just to confirm, in my case was like weeks, 3 weeks, if I remember. But yes, I hear everything was like far away. In my experience, it is very interesting that I have two extraordinary experiences. What I mean with this, I cannot say if it was while I was in coma or while they were trying to get me back to life, because I was gone twice and I had two extraordinary experiences, right? That I remember in details, and very, very unique things. I cannot tell specific things I was hearing, but I can tell about those experiences, if that makes sense.
Wow, it does. Amazing. And again, just to demonstrate, how young you were when it happened, and also interesting that you were considering a career in the medical field, and then that happened, and here you are supporting others, maybe not from a medical standpoint, but supporting them in a very, very important way. What you offer is a little bit different, more of an elite approach, if you will. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. So I would love to start knowing or sharing a little bit about coaching, what coaching is, right? The best way to describe what I do in my practice is I believe in the transformation. What I mean through the coaching, right? And coaching is a tool, right? But I want to emphasize that through the programs, that is the tool, the vehicle we are using to create this transformation in the stroke journey and helping people enhance their second chance at life, is more about helping them to create a lasting change, a transformation in their lives so that they can not just survive, but truly thrive in the second chance at life.
What do you want people to know, whether it's somebody that may have suffered a stroke and going through challenges, maybe a family member, having gone through it? What would you tell somebody?
And just to make sure, gone through the journey or through the help or support I provide?
The journey itself.
It's a great question because the first thing that came to mind is like to really understand the stroke journey, we need to like go through it, right? It is not the same about telling things and living it, right? So from the prevention standpoint, it is very important to have in consideration your goals, what you want to do in life. For some of us, for the majority of us, we have only one life, right? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want? You want to help others, you want to inspire others. So that is a great question, right? When we have experts or providers, you need to lose weight because you can have a stroke, right? Those are signs already, alerts, to help us start taking action to prevent a stroke. So, coming from someone who lived the journey, I will not want anybody go through, right? So definitely like sharing, first, what do you want, right? Is the first thing. If we look what you don't want, right? Do you would like things to look like this way or this other way? We all have choices, right? What do you choose today? Who do you want to be? So are a few things to consider, and we work from there.
Well, thanks for bringing that up, that everything is a choice. You may not have chosen to have a stroke. I don't mean you personally, just anybody. You may have not chosen to have one, but you can choose how you're going to deal with it, work through it, what your mental state is going to be. Yes, I'm not minimizing anything here at all, but everything we do, we have free will. It's a choice. What you're going to do in the next 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 hours, 5 years. It's a choice. And what I'm getting from you, Karina, especially is with somebody going through the challenges of having a stroke, being a survivor of it, life's purpose, your purpose in life seems to come very clear. And maybe it's, I don't know, maybe people are faced with their mortality now that you've had a stroke. I mean, sounds like you were gone and came back. I don't know if I heard that right. So now you look at things in a different way, I would imagine. Yeah.
Yes.
Tell me about your transformation. Now, you lived this, you survived it, you've turned your recovery into a journey of helping others. Can you share your transformation, how things changed along the way for you, whether it was the first couple of months, first year, or years later, how maybe you look at life differently?
Yes. From everything. Like I can talk from not moving your left side of the body, right? Not being able to move, not being able to use your body as you used to, right? The first transformation in my journey, from not being able to move your eyes, from the transformation in spirit, right? So that is why we provide and we work through the journey, helping them with the complete transformation. Wow. Physical, mind, body, spirit, right? So very quick to share something years in short period of time. From the physical aspect, it is a progress. We all are different. Our timing is different. Since when we start walking, through using the equipments that are helping us to achieving the independence, physically speaking. From mindset, the very, very important, right? One of the things I am very, very grateful is the support, not everybody can say this. The support of my family, the support of friends in the process, having everything, but more importantly, since the start, I told myself I need to walk again, right? That willingness started mentally, the transformation, right? I am not going to stay in bed. That is the first thing, the first transformation, the willingness of moving forward, of wanting to pursue a career, finish my career, or doing things. From the spiritual part, from coming from acceptance to not just accepting it, but becoming better than before. So there are different aspects, and that is why I break it down, in pieces, and it is very important to go through it in the process, and mastering is the key.
So many believe, myself being one of them, that what you think becomes your reality. Call it manifesting, call it, I'm trying to remember how the phrase goes. The energy flows where the attention goes. And it sounds like you were focused on a number of things, getting yourself back as much as you could to who you were before the stroke, be it walking the same way. And would you say that is, with somebody that is trying to transform themselves after a stroke, that is the key part, that focus, to focus on what your goal is?
Yes, it's one of the things. And while you were speaking, I believe that the best way of describe the full transformation is becoming out from survival mode to thriving. It's the best way of describe, because most of humans, they are surviving.
Yeah.
Right? So that is the best way to put it, everything in few sentences.
I love looking at it that way too, because when I say the word survive, it's great. It's a positive word. You made it. But it has a feeling of, best description, just getting by. It's positive, but it's not as positive as a word like thriving, like just enjoying life. Yeah, I'm getting by. I survived it. Or, yeah, I'm thriving. I had a stroke. I've worked my way through things. I've got some more to go, but I'm feeling good. Life is good. Is it a mindset? A lot of this, is it in your mind?
It is in your mind, and also the way, the things that we want to, it come back to choices, but the way or how we want to experience or continue the second chance of life in this case.
Would you have done anything different in your journey?
Yes.
What's that?
From making changes, noticing, for years, if something is not working, we need to change things to have different results, right? Here, what comes to mind is the math equation. Like, if something, it is not giving you the results you want, you need to change something to have different results. So here, from careers to changes, changing careers. I used to work for corporate, now changing it, doing something more, from working towards recovery in the physical aspect. If I am not getting back, if I am not walking yet, something I need to change, right, to have a different result.
Even if we took the stroke part out of this, just what you said applies to all of us. And many times we're afraid to make that change, no matter what it is, even just to change it up, a different direction. I'm not talking about necessarily moving or quitting your job, although that can be certainly part of it. But we're wired for comfortability, just feeling comfortable, not confronting fear and that kind of change. But sometimes you need that, to because you hang on to things that don't support you, like you said, your job.
Yes.
What's the first step? Even before we get to that, you say you help with the prevention of strokes. Is that for people who have suffered a stroke or just in general preventing strokes?
Just in general. As I mentioned before, we have sometimes, and this I see it as an opportunity we have providers or telling us, alerting us, hey, we need to take action to prevent a stroke. That is a great opportunity to enter in that prevention phase if you don't want that to happen.
What are some of the things that we should be doing to prevent a stroke? I don't think it's talked about enough, quite honestly. What are some of the things?
Some of the things is the health, right? The physical aspect, your nutrition. And I created one of my first education or workshop about how the nutrition, how or what we are eating influence, everything we do pretty much.
The older I get, the more I realize that. And also how our food supply isn't the best in terms of pesticides and what's going into our food. That's a whole other podcast. But yes, being mindful of what you're eating. I guess it's okay to have fries every once in a while, but not on a regular basis. Certainly your weight is a factor in strokes. Anything else that some of those key things that can lead to a stroke?
Yes, and one of the most important factors is the stress, your stress levels.
And again, illustrating you you were a teenager when you had a stroke. Did I hear that right? Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, teenagers go through stress, but maybe not as much stress as, adults when you have mortgage payments, car payments, and everything going on there, and you still had a stroke. And you still had one. Wow. I'm curious, was that in your family history at all?
So nobody in my family has had a stroke before it happened, or we hear there were like diagnoses, if that makes sense, right? But while you were sharing, one of the things to share with the community is to be aware about the signs. What I mean, I was an active person when I was young. I was playing a sport and doing all those things, right?
Sure.
But few things to mention: headaches, change in your vision, energy levels, are a few things to mention regarding to those signs. I know that there are more, and here with the Brain Injury Foundation, they have more, information as well. They created the FAST as well to share or help the community understand those signs. Very important, but just to mention a few of them.
No, I appreciate that. You don't hear it enough. And for some reason, I remember back in the day, they used to talk about the warning signs of stroke. You don't hear it anymore. And it's important, instead of looking at, reels of people slipping and falling or whatever comes up in your feed. How about important stuff like this? By the way, I just want to say, in your background, I love what it says, faith over fear. So powerful. 3 words, faith over fear. And faith can come in many different forms. You can connect it to religion, faith in yourself, faith in the universe, but it's a great phrase. 3 words that say a lot. How does somebody connect with you, Karina? If it's a family member of somebody that's had a stroke, maybe just somebody wants to have a conversation with you to start that process. How do they find you?
That is a great question. So I have my website. My website is the abbreviation lwlwks.com. Is the abbreviation of Living Without Limits with Karina Seda. That is one of the ways. They also can, if they Google me, they find me in different social medias as well.
Sure.
So we have different way where they can connect.
Wonderful what you offer. I've never heard of it before. It's so needed. I want to share with everybody. Your name is spelled Karina, last name Seda. If you want to do a search, and come up in social. And thank you very much for being here today, for doing what you do, and also spreading awareness. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I forget sometimes because my brain is like busy, I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
Sometimes it can be tough to get through to your kids, but it's not impossible. Always make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Remember, you have the keys, you have the power. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.